Hello everyone, my name is Simo, and in this video I'm going to show you how to play Conduit 2 online post Nintendo Wi-Fi connection shutdown using the new WeMify servers. Now, this game has actually been playable for a while, and I want to help those of you that are still wanting to play online again. And I'm going to show you exactly step by step how to do that very thing indeed. And thankfully it's not a stupidly long or stupidly complicated process, but there is a little bit of stuff that goes along with this, and I want to show you how to do that. And I'm going to be covering this using the Nintendo Wii hardware. However, I do want to make mention that you can play this game online via the Dolphin emulator. It's actually how I personally play online when I play Conduit 2. And I want to make a separate video on that. I'm going to do that in very early 2020, probably likely within the first month of January, if not the first few weeks of February. And the reason why it's going to be that delayed is because I have to actually kind of basically make this video as simple as possible. It can get quickly overly complicated, but honestly, not only that, in terms of having to play online for Dolphin emulator, I figured it out a long time ago, and I forgot a lot of the steps and exactly how you do all that kind of stuff. And overall, I want to make sure I get that all correct. And so I'm going to do my research, do my due diligence, and try to figure that out and actually make it representable for you guys to be able to do that accordingly. So it will be its own separate video, but if you are eager to try that out, if you have the PC to handle it and all that kind of stuff, you have a gaming PC, or even if it's like fairly old, mine's from 2013 and I can still do it fairly decently. But if you don't want to wait until like that video comes out and all that kind of stuff, just look up the link in the description and you'll see a link that will kind of help you out with all that kind of stuff. It actually helped me out figure out everything I need to do. So if you want to do that, definitely do that. But if you have a Wii, an actual physical Wii, and you just want to go ahead and play online right now using that Wii, definitely go ahead and do that, because that will be helpful for you if you want to do it that way. And this is what this video is going to cover in terms of how to do it, but the Dolphin emulator one will come at a later time. Also, be sure to stick around in the last part of the video, because I'm going to also be talking about how to actually set up matches with the Conduit community using the Conduit Discord, and it's kind of how we set up and actually organize matches to play and things like that. And I'm going to cover a lot more of that towards the end and all that kind of stuff, so there you go. Now in this tutorial, I want to make sure I get everybody able to play, and so because of that, we're going to be starting 100% from scratch in the beginning, fresh start. Basically, if you had just picked up a Wii from GameStop to do this, this tutorial is for you, because we're going to be covering how to actually also install the Homebrew channel and going on from there. However, if you're not at that point where you don't have the Homebrew channel and you're not starting from fresh and all this kind of stuff, there'll be timestamps in the description and in the pinned comment below for you mobile users, and you just find the timestamps that are for your section of the video and the one that's most relevant to you, and just watch from there. It'll all make sense if that's what you want to do. And if all you need to do is install the save data to get the patches for Conduit 2, start from there. If all you need is a dispatcher for Homebrew, start from there. Or if you're 100% fresh, let's go ahead and start here. And start now. Enjoy. Conduit 2 is a game that came out in 2011 and actually used the GameSpy servers to play online and have its functionality in that regard. And because we are playing an older game that is technically not supported anymore because the GameSpy servers are shut down, and as such online functionality is shut down, we do have to make sure that we have the tools necessary and the software necessary to play. Of course, when it comes to the actual hardware, you gotta have, of course, like the Wii cable, the power cable for the Wii, the sensor bar, etc., all the controllers and all that kind of stuff. And you can't play with all that kind of stuff, but that's obvious. But one thing you might not know is that for those of you that are just picking up the Wii and just trying to play it again, you may not actually have the actual right cables and the right actual connectors to actually hook up to your TV or monitor or whatever to actually play on Conduit 2 just at all. And so for many of you guys, there may be a TV that does not have the yellow, red, white, and yellow AV cables, I believe what they're called, and also or the component cables that also are like 5 different cables. I think it's like yellow, green, blue, all these types of colors, you know, just all that kind of stuff. You may not have those cables, which is what is compatible with the Wii. However, though, there is this handy Wii to HDMI adapter that I actually also use for this, and have used for this video specifically too. And basically what it is that it's just a little adapter that hooks up to the back of your Wii that lets you plug in an HDMI cable, so that you don't have to have the AV cables or the component cables, and you can play on an HDMI only TV, because a lot of TVs nowadays, and have been for a while now, do not come with the AV cables or the component cables at all. It's probably been that case since maybe like 2013 or even later. I don't know the exact date, but it's been that way for a good number of years. And so if you don't have those cables and you don't have the TV to actually play it, I recommend getting this Wii to HDMI adapter. It's not very expensive at all. From the top of my head, I remember the most was maybe like 20 bucks at the most, but I think it's probably more like around 15, 10. I think that's what I bought it for. But regardless, there'll be Amazon and Walmart links in the description, and I think you can also get it in different colors too. I know you at least can get it in white or black. I got mine in white just because simplicity reasons, and I didn't really care. And I'm not so sure they had black, even though I have a black Wii, but you know, that's neither here nor there. Just as long as you get the device, if you need it, pick it up. If not, don't worry about it, then that's just that. Now, also too, as far as hardware is concerned, this is actually the more important setup in terms of actually being able to play the game. If you already have the capacity to actually play on your TV or whatever, right? If you already have that capacity to play on your TV, don't worry about the Wii to HDMI adapter, but you definitely need to have this. You either need the USB drive or the Conduit 2 disc. One of the two. Pick one of the two. Doesn't necessarily matter. Although I will say, depending on the method that you do choose, whether it's the USB loader drive type of method thing or the actual disc method, you will, you know, part of this video is going to be most relevant to you. And we'll discuss that when we get there. But the most important thing is the actual SD card. This is the thing that you're going to be using to actually install Homebrew. This is the thing that is most important for actually installing and getting your Wii actually able to play online overall when it comes to Conduit 2. This is the device you cannot do without. And so you also, of course, are going to need a laptop or a desktop with an SD card reader or just an SD card slot type of thing to actually be able to load the files in. I recommend doing that. Although, just as a side note, if you are planning on only using the disc, you could technically use your phone. I actually managed to do this up, just kind of a setup type of thing when my laptop wasn't working at the moment, and it only worked for me because I didn't have, I actually have the Conduit 2 disc. I actually bought Conduit 2 on release day, and so I actually got all this kind of special stuff and like the artwork book and all this kind of stuff. But overall, if you are planning on using the disc, keep in mind, if you only have your phone, you could definitely use that. Just make sure that your phone actually has an SD card slot and has the ability to actually organize files and things like that. I think most Android phones are actually capable of doing that. Not so sure about iPhone. I don't have an iPhone. I don't think it can, but you know, there may be some workarounds. But regardless, if all else fails, just get a laptop or desktop with an SD card slot reader. You can get one of those SD card slot readers from Best Buy. I saw a couple when I went to Best Buy a couple times. So just, you know, if you're all out of luck in that regard and you have a desktop but no SD card slot, you still can get it. Just might have to buy that as well. Now, software side is also needed, of course, and fortunately, it's actually a lot more simpler because I made it so. In the description of this video, there's just one link, but I think there's like 2 separate folders, basically just saying, hey, download either one that's relevant to you. And basically what these links are is that they're just simply depending on what method you're using, whether it's the USB loader method or the disk method, you want to download each of those files that are relevant to you. So if you are using the disk method, download the disk files and it'll be very easy. If you're using the USB loader method, download the USB loader method as well. Now let's move on to installing Homebrew, and let's get started with that. The next thing you want to do is go to this link in the description to where what you will use is known as the letter bomb exploit to install the Homebrew channel or HBC. Now, before you move on to actually, you know, doing all the following steps and things like that, I want you to make sure that your Wii is at the system version 4.3. Mine's at 4.3U, which is United States. Basically, yours might be slightly different depending on the region or country that you're in. Like, for example, for Europe, it is 4.3E. But the most important thing is that you're just making sure that it's 4.3 before you go any further, because this is what this exploit uses. It uses system 4.3 in order to make sure that that's actually a working thing. And if it's not system 4.3, I have a link in the description that will tell you how to install the Homebrew channel for the version you have. I'm only be covering 4.3 in this particular video, because for one, I suspect that most people are in this boat, and this is the one that I'm in, and I can't show you and teach you stuff that I don't have. And unfortunately, it's also very risky to downgrade, and I don't exactly know how to do that, and you can actually have the potential of breaking your system if you try to do that. And I would also assume for the same for the upgrade, especially considering the fact that the way that you would update through the when it comes to the Wii is actually completely gone, which is called the Wii Shop channel. So whatever version you have, if it's not 4.3, I will post a link in the description for where you can actually just, you know, basically just find out how to get Homebrew channel on there. And if all else fails, please do search it up on YouTube in terms of that. I guarantee you that there is like tons and tons and hundreds of thousands of videos showing you exactly how to install the Homebrew channel for your particular system version if it is not 4.3. I don't think that most of you will be in this boat, if any of you, but just in case. But if you do have 4.3, let's go ahead and continue. So once you have the link in the description open in your browser of choice, turn on your Wii and go to the Wii settings. After that, go to Internet settings and then go to console settings. Here you will find your Wii's MAC address. Copy it exactly as you see it in the Wii, save the information and put it in the website listed. And now, after that, just tell the thing you're not Rob the Robot and cut whatever color wire you want. Doesn't matter the color, I don't think it really matters at all. I think I just chose blue or something like that just because whatever. I'm not even sure it even matters for like installing the thing at all, but just whatever. After that, it will give you a zip file for the letter bomb exploit. Download it, extract it out, and put all the files on from the extracted folder onto your SD card. If you already have files on your SD card, move them, put them somewhere else. I decided that I wanted to do sort of a quick format just to make sure that it was all, you know, clean or whatever else, but I don't think that necessarily matters that much, but it was just for an extra precaution on my end. And you can choose to do that if you want so, but the important thing is that any files that you actually have on your SD card using for a Homebrew channel, just move them off your SD card to somewhere else on the computer or whatever else, right? So just do that and, you know, you'll be all set. Now, once you have them moved all off, put the files onto the root of your SD card, and all the root is basically when you first open up your SD card and you just see that there's nothing there or whatever, that's the root. Just put them all the files there. Now take your SD card out of your computer or whatever device you're using to actually put all the files in and put them in your Wii. Go to the Wii message board, just go forward or backwards a couple days until you see a message pop up. Once you see this message pop up, it's going to have the letter bomb symbol on it. Press it and just watch the magic happen. Once you're in, just wait a few moments, press the 1 on your Wiimote, then go to install the Homebrew channel, let it do its work, and exit accordingly. Now you're in the Homebrew channel with the whole bubbly water looking thing, and if we go back to the Wii menu, we see the Homebrew channel icon banner accordingly, and we can just listen to the sweet, dope music. Now, on to the next step. Now, this is step 3, and this is where we're actually going to be starting to talk about whichever method you want to use. This is step 3A. If you're using the disk method, please be sure to use this one. If not, and you want to use the USB loader method, just skip to the timestamp relevant to you in that regard. But overall, When it comes to whatever method, this one is actually a little bit easier. In fact, I would say probably the most easiest step by far. And really, in order to do this, you just gotta first make sure that the disk that you already have for Conduit 2 is already in your Wii. The next thing you want to do after that is have the Wiimify patcher and the little download link that I gave you for the disk method. Just copy that and the apps thing from the apps folder that I have there to the root of your SD card slot. You're going to see a folder called apps. Just copy it over there. It'll be set and everything like that. Now, once it's copied there, open up your Homebrew channel on the Wii and just open up the app on Homebrew and just let it do its magical work. Once it's done, it will have the patched data that will no longer point from the old offline servers to now the new working servers. And just two quick notes before I go on to the next step. First things first, you want to make sure you do this every single time that you do load up Conduit 2. And the reason being is that unfortunately when it comes to the actual regular loading method of the disk, it's gonna actually, I think it's gonna actually try to delete the Homebrew channel if you use that regular method. I don't know why it does it like that, but it does. It's a little bit annoying in that regard, but it is what it is. But also the more important reason is that actually, even if it was to just regularly, do its regular work or whatever, it actually wouldn't patch the files for that new play session that you just did. Because for whatever reason, it's not. I don't think it's possible to permanently patch the files like it is for the actual USB loader method. And so because of that, every single time you exit out of Conduit 2 completely, like main menu and everything like that, you're gonna have to use this method over and over again to actually point from the old offline servers to the new online working servers. Now, the second thing is that if you have no interest in using the USB loader method, please skip to step 4 and the timestamp below. The reason being is that because this is the actual most relevant step for you if you have no plans on using the USB loader method. If you do plan on using the USB loader method, just continue on with the video and there you go. Now, I have to preface this by saying this particular bit is going to take a little bit more time to do, and it's just a slight bit more work and more effort overall. So, first thing, in the download links for the software needed to play Conduit 2 is the USB loader method. Now, this one actually has the actual game in it, the actual game file that you would actually use to load this game. And you'll notice it's about 4 gigabytes in size, which is 100% a lot, no questions asked. However, the game file and one thing in particular has a special thing, in that it is already pre-done so that it automatically points to the Wiimify servers. Now, no auto patching at all. Anytime you want to boot up Conduit 2, just all good to go. And that's basically that. Now, after that, you will have to have a USB loader stick. You will have to have some type of USB hard drive type of thing or whatever, and to basically put this into your Wii and actually load it that way. Now, I use a USB stick personally, but again, a regular hard drive is fine. But one thing you do need to do is actually have what is known as a the format FAT32 for your particular flash drive, hard drive type of thing. And for whatever reason, the USB loader that we're going to be using in this case, USB loader GX, it really seems to only work with FAT32. I don't know why it's like that. I've tried NTFS, I think is what it's called, the other hard drive format thing. But for whatever reason, it just doesn't work as well. So what I have in the description as well is like a FAT32 hard drive formatter. It's completely free. I don't even think you even have to actually install any software. It's just like, open it up and whatever. I don't think that's the case, at least. But regardless, it's free, completely easy to do. And just format your USB stick to FAT32. Super easy. Just make sure that before you format it, that your USB stick that you are using does not have any files, because when you format it, it will erase any files that are already on there. And it has to do that, so just make sure that it's all cleared out in that regard, just like with the SD card earlier when it came to installing Homebrew. Now, once this is done, in the USB loader folder, there is a program called WeBFS Manager GX. Lots of GXs here for some reason, I don't know. But anyway, open that up and use the one that matches your OS type or your operating system type, whether it's 32-bit or 64-bit. And locate your USB device and make sure that it's in drive 1 in that program. Now, go into Files and select the Conduit 2 game file that we downloaded with our USB loader method download, and check the box into that title game name right there, and just transfer it to that drive and let it take its time. It didn't take too long for me personally, just about 5 minutes or so, although your mileage may vary for better or worse. Just letting you know that right now. I've had one time before it took freaking forever to do this on an older computer, so just letting that be known there, but it may even be faster for you depending on what you're doing. So just let it do its thing. When it's 100% done, the green bar transfer will be completely gone, and once it's done, just unplug your USB device, plug it in the back of your Wii on the right side facing the back of the Wii. This USB port right here. Now once we have the USB port plugged into the back of the Wii, on your SD card, copy the apps folder that you have on the download that we have for the USB loader method, and just copy it directly from the SD card that you're using for there. Now, once you have the apps folder copied, just take the SD card out of your computer, plug it into your Wii, and then select the icon for USB loader GX in your Homebrew channel. Just a small little cut in this section. Just a quick note, if you do get this little error that says device not initialized, go to these settings right here within the USB loader GX and just click on the device thing to initialize it, and then once it's initialized, it'll actually load in, and we can continue from that point. So there you go. And once it does load in, go to the icon up here and then select Wii games, and then once it's done, you should see Conduit 2 selected. Start it up, and if you get this message, just press continue. It actually doesn't necessarily matter, although I will say this is one of the major benefits of playing with USB loader GX is that you actually can use cheats for single player and stuff like that. I've actually managed to do a lot of that for Conduit 2 montages, and this is exactly how I got stuff like this. Or even this. Or even this. Those kind of cinematics, because quite frankly, no other way I would have done them. And at the end of the day, if that's not you and you're not interested in all this kind of stuff, don't worry about it. Just press continue and you're ready to go. However, though, there is one last thing to do, and that is installing the game patches by installing the save data. One of the dopest things that has ever happened in Conduit 2 was the fact that this game could actually be patched to be updated to fix bugs, buff weapons, and a few other major things like that. However, though, to download these patches, you actually had to connect to the Nintendo Wi-Fi connection servers and have the patches downloaded to your Wii save data. However, though, the problem is that since the official servers are actually shut down, you cannot download these patches anymore, and without the current game patches, it's impossible to play with anyone with those patches, which is basically everyone else from the shutdown. However, though, if you were paying attention, you would notice I said it downloads directly to your Wii save data. And because of this, as long as you have the right save data, you can actually play with these patches. And that's what we'll be doing today, installing a save file with the patches already there. Now, before I move on, I do have to make a major note for two majorly helpful people in this regard with this entire process right there. One of my best friends, Ryan Booger, who has consistently and constantly has helped me out with Conduit 2 montages in the past, like one from the Together Community montage, The End, and many, many more that you have no idea about. And it's not just limited to Conduit 2 only. This dude is a great human. I'm just saying that right now. He's the best dude ever. But also, too, another person that has also helped out big time has been a guy in the Conduit 2 Discord named Agent Orange. He's helped me out with some of this stuff as well, and basically to make your life easier by a country mile when it comes to playing Conduit 2 online again. One of the things that was present in Conduit 2 was the fact that there was a credit system to buy all the perks, weapons, and cosmetic only items as well. However, with a few perks like Supercharger to move faster around the map, or maybe Phase Rifle tuning that hides any notification that you're being tuned on and shot through a wall, or even the less useful ones like Field Medicine where you can cover people faster and revive them in team modes, and many other perks. It required getting a certain number of medals in public matches to unlock them. For example, for Supercharger, it required getting 25 ASC captures or this game's version of flag captures in other games like Call of Duty Black Ops 1 or whatever else. And funny enough, when it came to Call of Duty Black Ops 1, it's the exact same challenge requirement to get Supercharger. Basically, get 25. I believe in COD it was like 20 or 25, something like that. I don't exactly remember the exact number, but it was a certain number of flag captures to unlock what is known as Marathon Pro or Unlimited Sprint in that game. Now, Unlimited Sprint is not the thing that is needed in Conduit 2 because there's a perk you can just buy directly for that. However, though, for Supercharger, if you want to move faster around the map, you have to do the same thing you did in Black Ops 1. And for anyone that actually played that game, you know it's very annoying to have to go to capture the flag, a mode you may not enjoy, just to get a perk like that. And so because of that, we decided that, hey, we're going to go ahead and just go through the effort of doing that, and there you go. And same is also true for the stealth perk. It required getting 25 backstab kills or melees from behind, and just many other things like that. There were many perks, probably like 30-25% of the perks in Conduit 2 are like that, but it's still enough of a grind to actually discourage somebody from wanting to actually play. Just imagine for a quick second you're playing Modern Warfare 2, right? Going over to somebody's friend's house, and the next thing you know, you want to play the game, and then, oh shoot, I have to unlock all these guns again. Well, imagine if your friend was like, hey, don't worry about it, I already got all the stuff unlocked, we can just go ahead and play it. And you can actually play with your favorite weapons like the AK-47 in Modern Warfare 2. This is what me, Rybuger, and Agent Orange did with all the medal collecting so you could just have all the perks. And I also did the infinite money cheat to unlock all the weapons as well, so you wouldn't have to worry about the grind in that regard. And so basically the only thing you have to worry about if you want to get stuff is the actual locked cosmetic stuff that you have to play with the single player campaign, which I did not touch in this at all. I did not touch in this save file whatsoever. But if you want to play through the single player campaign and you want to get those unlocked stuff, like some of the actual like cosmetic models and stuff like that, I think Andromeda is one of them, like Prometheus, or not Prometheus, it's Adams, I think. It's called the Progenitor skin. Basically, any of these types of stuff, if you want to unlock that stuff, you do have to play through the single player campaign, but I wanted to leave that choice up to you. Just so if you wanted to play the single player campaign, you could do so. So in short, me and two other friends have decided to unlock all the perks and all the weapons and things like that as much as possible, to the point where you can actually have the entirety of multiplayer available to you right off the jump. And you know, this is just a little bit of footage of us doing that kind of thing right here. Alright, I'm ready.
The enemies are overcoming us. We must fight
hard. I feel like the Spaz would be a good weapon to do this with because you get a lot of shots and most of them are one-hit kills.
Yeah, probably.
Headshot. We've gained the advantage. Don't let up.
Alright, sweet. Yeah, this is taking too long once we get, you know, a good
yeah.
Pretty much. Don't suicide, Ryan.
Alright.
Killing spree.
This is a lot more efficient than how we were doing it before. Getting the other medals.
Oh yeah, definitely. We went through a decent amount of time and effort to kind of do this, so I hope you guys enjoy all the effort that we had, you know, doing all this kind of stuff, especially me and Rybuger, because trust me, it's a lot of weeks to went into this. So now let's move on to installing the actual save data. Now you understand a bit what's going on. Now with either of the methods for Conduit 2, whether that's disk or USB, there's a folder called Save Games. Put that folder onto the root of your SD card, and if you don't already have it in there, it should already be in there, but if you don't already have it in there, there should be an app in the apps folder called Save Game Manager GX. put that folder in there if it's not already there, and eject the SD card from the platform they're using to install all the files and stuff like that. You know, just take it from the computer and put it onto the Wii. Now, once you have that done, open up the Homebrew channel and open up the Save Game Manager GX app. And once you have it open, navigate to where you see the Conduit 2 save data. It's actually relatively simple. That was like the first time I've been able to actually using Save Game Manager GX for this recording, and quite frankly, it worked pretty well. It's simple stuff. Just press it and install it. It takes no time at all. And once you have it installed, you're all good to go. You're actually ready to set and play the Conduit 2 online. But there is one other thing I want to let you know about. You are set to play Conduit 2 with everything already unlocked, everything like that. But the profile that you're going to see when you load up Conduit 2 is a profile called copy file. Copy_file. All caps. This profile was what was used to actually get all the perks unlocked in the game. And you might be wondering, well, okay, I have all the items here, but you know, why can't I have my own profile? Fair question. Well, actually, I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So basically what you want to do is actually copy the copy file profile to a blank profile. And the game will ask you to actually rename it. And once you actually rename it, you actually have your own profile on deck, ready to rock and roll and actually play. Because once you do this, it actually will clear out any multiplayer data that is on that profile. But the cool part is you retain all the unlocks from the last copy profile there, which is of course everything you basically need. So it's really that simple. Just do that and you'll be all set to go. Now, the most important aspect. Just play the freaking game, man. I mean, what are you waiting for? Oh, I don't know. You're waiting for the Conduit 2 Discord thing, right? So, let's talk about that. So back a while ago, one of the members in the Conduit community had actually made a Discord server for us to play a whole bunch of matches and everything like that once the online was actually ready and stable and set and good to go. But it was sort of dead for a while, but it recently, more like in the past few months, has gotten a really good jump start with some new members, and although not new to C2 for the most part, are still new to the Discord server. And so for a while now, for the past few months, we've just been consecutively playing, you know, Conduit 2 matches every Sunday night at 9 p.m. EST or 8 p.m. CST, or I guess if you want to, you know, adjust accordingly for your time zone. And it's actually been going fairly great. It's been a lot of fun. And overall, we want you to join in and play with us if you're taking all this time out to actually get this whole thing set up. And so I would highly recommend you guys for actually join in and have some fun. Now, we have discussions about various things in Conduit 2 and even Conduit 1 if you're into that, and occasionally we will play Conduit 1 as well. And overall, if you want to play, talk, you know, do anything, set up a match, overall, whatever you want to do, it's a friendly community for Conduit 2, and if you want to do anything Conduit related, this is for you. And it's not only just strictly Conduit related either, it's just more like Conduit focused. And if this is the server that you want to, you know, organize some matches and play in, please join. The only real rule is that you keep it focused on the channel's topics, do not start drama, and nothing not safe at work. You know what I mean by that. And so, simple stuff, worked out pretty well. And if you have any questions about setting anything up here, please do ask, and don't be afraid to ask me or really anyone in the server if you do have any questions at all. Now, once again, part 2 for how to play on Dolphin will be coming very early in 2020. If you found this video useful, be sure to like, favorite, subscribe, but the most important of all is to share the video. Please spread it around to anyone that wants to join, you know, play, whatever else. It doesn't matter if they're interested in Conduit 2 and you know they've been wanting to play this game, even a slight vague interest, even if it's just to play a new game, you know, let them join in. It'll be a lot of fun for you guys. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Catch y'all later in the next one. Bye-bye.